Hello, my name is Zombie878 and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'm going to be going over studio functions in Rec Room Studio. So, if you want to possibly transform a position of something in Rec Room Studio to a player's position, or you just want to manipulate a Rec Room Studio object, I'm going to show you how to do that with studio functions. I'm also going to put the request I'm doing on top of the screen. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create an object. I'm going to just make a simple cube, press enter on that, and I'm just going to get it over to my position, or I'm just going to fly over to it. It doesn't really matter. So now that I made this cube, the first thing I want to do is I want to go to a folder. I like going to my Rec Room Studio folder because anything I do in Rec Room Studio, I'll just make a separate folder in that. And I already made a prefab folder, but I'm going to go ahead and delete it since there's nothing in it. And so you're going to click on the Rec Room Studio folder, or whatever folder you want, right click, create, and you want to create a new folder. And you're going to name this folder prefab. Press enter, and I'm going to double click on the folder. You see that I'm in the prefab folder now. We're going to take the cube and we're going to drag it down to the prefab. So obviously, since it's just a Unity object, I can't really do anything with it in the game. So you kind of have to make a prefab of it and turn it into a MakerPen studio object if you want the studio function to even show up. So go ahead and grab your cube or whatever, drag it down into the prefab folder, and I'm going to click on the prefab. Now in your inspector tab on your right, you should have the inspector tab. If you don't, you can just go ahead and add the tab right here. And once you're in your inspector tab, you want to go to add component and type in Rec Room. I already got Rec Room typed in, but yeah, just type in Rec Room, and I'm going to click on studio object because I want to change this cube into a studio object. You notice now that it moves down from the Unity part into the Rec Room MakerPen objects. So now it has a little chip at the top of it, and this means I can go ahead and manipulate it and do different things with it in the game with the MakerPen now. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on my prefab. I'm just going to deselect all this because I don't need it. I'm going to make sure this is decorational, and I'm going to update the object board for it. Now if you go down here, you see that you can do studio functions or you can do Unity event. Unity events work just the same as studio functions. They're just older. Studio functions are newer to make it easier. So what you want to do is you're going to want to click the plus next to the studio function search bar. We're going to name this function set position. I think that should work. Yeah, let's just name this one to set position. And yes, I know there's a set position chip in the game, but if you want to just do this, you can. So I'm just going to do this, set position. Let's press enter, make sure that we're not on it. And this cube is already in it, but if there's nothing here, go ahead and grab your cube in the prefab folder and place it there. We are going to select the transform method because we want to transform it to a person's position. So we are going to set the position. and it's going to give you these X, Y, and Z's. It's because we have no ports right now. Go ahead and click on this and create a new port. We are going to name this one position. This will set the position of the cube. So in the game, you'll see everything we do here. Next, we want to get the, make sure this is also set to your input too, otherwise it's not going to work. Next, we're going to want to get our position, which the position chip does not do. So I'm going to make a new vector 3. And I'm going to set this to position. I'm going to rename the output to position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new instruction. Make sure it's the same as this one. And besides doing position set, we're going to do position get so we can get the position. Make sure to set it to your output. And of course, you're going to want to update your object board. Just make sure that everything is updated. It says successfully updated one object board with no warnings. That's good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click test subroom, which this will open up the subroom if you have rec room open. This is just a quicker way to get into the room besides of making a different build and waiting for it to build, because that will take a while. So obviously this is for a quicker test. I'm on the make sure you got rec room open, by the way, otherwise it's going to be like you cannot test the sub room because rec room's not open. So make sure you got your rec room client open, and it will go ahead and open the sub room for you. And you can just go ahead and open up rec room. You see right here. Let me get out my maker pen so I can fly around and close this tab. So here's a cube that we put in Rec Room Studio. You can go ahead and manipulate it, do whatever you want with it. But that's not what we're here for. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to check if it's decorational. It's not decorational. I'm just going to change it to decorational here. And you can go ahead and change all these settings if you want. And then I am going to go ahead and just search in my search function for Studio. You just need to type in Studio and all the Studio chips will come up. We're going to get the Studio function chip. Make sure you place it right next to the object board you're using. I'm actually going to move this up a bit. Click on Studio function, and all your functions that you put in Studio and Rec Room Studio will be here. Click on Cube Set Position. And actually, before I go on, let me just go ahead and get a regular position chip real quick. I just want to show this off real quick. As you can see, you can do the same thing with this, but you're going to have to put in a little extra work because it doesn't have the inputs and outputs that we got. But anyway, what we're going to do, click on the set position. Oh wait, we already did that. Never mind. What we're going to do is connect the cube to the cube, which sounds weird. Just connect your Studio chip to the Studio object on the input. Next, we are going to get the position of our player. So go ahead and type in local player. Now, of course, if you want to set this to a specific part of the player, like maybe the head or something, your best bet is probably to use another chip like a head position or something. Yeah, here you go, player head position. But now that we have the get local player, let's go ahead and drag it over to the position chip. As you see, it adds the chip that we actually need, which is the get position chip, which is helpful for us. I'm gonna move this over. Just make sure your stuff is always organized. You don't want nothing unorganized. And now the final thing we need is we need a way to set the position to our position. So I'm gonna get this trigger handle right here, and I'm gonna connect it to here. Of course, what I do with every trigger handle is make sure the sound effects are off so people can't spam it and be annoying. And this will set it to the player's position, and this will get the output of the position. I'm gonna show it getting the output by getting a vector. What is it called? Variable. Vector3 variable. And what this does is this just stores a vector. So to show you that it actually works, it's going to store the vector that it will transform to my location. So now if I drop my maker pen and I grab the trigger handle, you're gonna see that it transforms to my position. Now if I pick up my maker pen and go over here, this will have my position right now. This will have the cube's position, and this will save the cube's position. So yeah, there you go. How to make it so you can get a Rec Room Studio object to your position, and you can even get the output of the position and stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna open up Rec Room Studio to end the video on this. Of course, before I should probably say this before going. Make sure that you send this to Studio. So open up this room and click Send to Studio. If you don't do that, you're gonna lose all the work that you've done here, and it will be, yeah, you don't want that to happen. Also, if you're making a project in Rec Room Studio, obviously make sure to save it, and make sure to go and build a room. Make a build of it on rec.net. Okay, now that I'm done with that, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.